Hello dear learner, welcome to this session on geyser operation and maintenance. Geyser, as we know, is used for heating water for domestic purposes, and the domestic geyser requires some maintenance from time to time, and we will see the simple maintenance and repairing steps in this session today. So welcome to the video demo of geyser maintenance and simple repairing. In case of a normal geyser that is used at home, we can see the geyser is connected to the power supply, usually a power supply socket of 16 ampere is used. It has got two pipes connected to it. One is for inlet cold water and the other one is for outlet hot water. Usually, the inlet cold water will be marked in blue in the inlet of the geyser, and the outlet pipe will be connected to the red connector of the geyser. So these two pipings are required to be connected using hot and cold water type of pipes. And also in the geyser, as we know, from the geyser the hot water goes out, so the pipe that is used to carry the heated water needs to be hot and cold water type of pipe. Usually CPVC type pipes or metallic pipes can be used for the purpose, and it is connected to the 3-pin socket type of connection and the plug, and this type of connection has to be done by trained electrician. And the switch that is used for switching on the geyser is also a special type of switch. By special, what I mean is the rating has to be proper. The rating has to be about 16 amperes. Otherwise, this geyser, because it draws heavy amount of current, it may not be possible to connect to the power supply with a normal switch. So dear learner, let us now resume our discussion by trying to open a geyser which requires repairing. As we can see, these particular geysers assembly has to be changed. Assembly means it has got everything into it that is required for heating water: the heating coil, the sensing mechanism, which is basically using the sensing rod, the temperature sensing rod, which is connected to a thermostat, as well as inlet and outlet pipes. So this has been taken out. This particular assembly has been taken out from this particular geyser, and in this geyser, as we can see, it accumulates the sediments of water. Usually the water that we use carries lot of minerals and salt, etc. They get accumulated over time inside the geyser container. So even on the heating rod also, there is deposition of salt and minerals which are present in water. Now all these components of the assembly are taken out now, and in this video it is going to be shown that a new assembly will be will be inserted. But before that, since the earlier assembly is taken out already, so the inside of the geyser will be now uh, cleaned using water, and that cleaning process is important, because whenever the geyser is opened and we see some deposition of minerals or salt in the geyser assembly, we need some kind of cleaning. We must take the opportunity to clean the container inside the geyser as well. So the cleaning has been now done, and the fitting of new assembly will be done here. So a gasket is first fixed so that it becomes watertight, and then it will be fitted with the required screw. So we can see that the connection to the new assembly can be made very easily. But before that, we have to do the installation of the assembly carefully, and tightening of the screws is also to be done carefully, because otherwise there may be chances of leakage in the geyser. So it requires some practice, and those who are trained technicians, they can do it very well. However, those who are going to try installation of such new assembly on the geyser also can do it carefully initially, and then as they become expert in doing so, then they can do the removal and reinstallation of such assembly very fast. It does not require much time, as you can see in this particular demo. So this new assembly is being fitted now. First, the assembly's plate is fitted. As we can see, the tightening of the screws is being done on the main plate, and after fitting this plate, the coil as well as the thermostat and other such connections will be fitted into this particular assembly plate. So this assembly plate is now uh, fitted, and tightening of the screws is done. So once this is completed, as you can see, it is done in turns, one by one. Not one particular screw is not tightened at the first instance, but one by one tightening of the screws is done, okay, in turns, so that there is uniform tightening of the screws from all sides. Now this particular screw is being um, made ready to connect this particular rubber washer, which will be used for connecting the coil or installing the coil. The coil is now inserted. This is the heating coil. It is inserted here, and it's going to be tightened. The screws are going to be tightened after fitting the coil into the assembly. So in this case also, as we will see, the tightening of the screws are not done in one side completely and then moving to the other side. It is not the practice. The tightening of the screws is done. The screws are tightened one by one. I mean, it is done in turns. First, one side screw is turned to the medium level, then the next side screw is again tightened to medium level, and then uh, it is the next one which is tightened to the medium level, and then after that all are um, tightened to the full extent. Okay, so again moving to the first one, then it is tightened, the second one, then it is tightened, and then moving to the third one, then it is tightened. So that is how it is done. In case of all screws, they are being tightened like this, and after fitting the heating coil of the geyser, the next thing that is going to be fitted is the thermostat. Now there are two thermostats which are fitted into the geyser, one for measuring the temperature of the cold water, and the other one for measuring the temperature of the hot water. So both cold and hot water require continuous measurement. So when the cold water, the water is too cold and requires heating, then automatically the geyser can switch on, and when the water becomes too hot, then also the geyser needs to be switched off automatically. So these two are done by the thermostats, and we can see the thermostat connections are being made here. The wire for the thermostat to operate is connected, as we can see in this video, and then from that thermostat there is an indicator which is connected, an LED, and once the thermostat is on or off depending on the temperature level that is being measured by the thermostat. If the temperature is low, then the thermostat will indicate by one indicator, and when the temperature of the water is high, then also the thermostat will indicate with lighting of another indicating LED. So the connection of the thermostat to the LED is shown here in the connection on the assembly plate itself. So this is the other connection of the thermostat being done by the wire. So one is the red wire, the other one is the black wire, and then the connection between the two ends is done so that the LED can glow whenever there is a reduced temperature or temperature going up to maximum level. In both cases it is done. So this way the thermostat connection is done to the geyser, and our assembly plate along with its components are now almost ready, and the testing of the thermostat can also be done by switching on the supply to the thermostat and basically giving the power, and then after that the LED glowing can be checked here as seen in the video, and this is how the basic assembly plate change in a geyser is done very easily, and it can lead to the repairing of the geyser, and the geyser can act like a new one, and it can be used for further uh, heating the water for home usage. Dear learner, in this part of the geyser operation and maintenance video, we will see how a geyser can be opened and its various components can be looked at, and we can do the inspection of the different components for possible replacement required. So a home electric geyser is usually opened from the bottom side. So the bottom plate, as we can see here, like a circular plate, that plate can be opened using normal screwdrivers. Okay, and after opening the plate we can see the different components inside it. This is how the geyser bottom plate can be opened, and we see the various components which are there inside, mainly the heating coil, the thermostats, and connecting wires will be seen like this when we open the geyser bottom side. But before that, the connections pipes which are connected to the hot and cold connections, they are to be opened, and we should let the water first go out, and the geyser should be emptied. So once the water goes out completely from the geyser tank, then only this bottom part of the geyser should be opened. As we open the bottom part, of the geyser, we see the various types of connections which are made by electrical wires to the thermistor, um, and to the coil itself, the heating coil. And as we can see here, this is the heating monitoring part, which is basically a sensor which is used to sense the water temperature. Okay, and then these components, once we can take them out, we should inspect them for their healthiness, whether these components are various components like the coil and the thermostat, that is this sensor, whether they are working properly and are in healthy condition or not. So this opening of the geyser leads to the pipes and other components being exposed, and then we can take them out one by one. There are other types of geysers also which do have the entry of water and also the exit of water from top. So this other type of geyser is shown here. So these types of geysers will have cold water supply entry in this manner, and the hot water also can go out of it like this. Electrical power supply is just like any other geyser, and the heating elements in these kinds of geysers are usually two. One is the upper heating element, the other one is the lower heating element. Then there are these thermostat control and high temperature limit switch which are available, which are inserted here into the tank. And we also see the temperature and pressure relief valve which is connected to the geyser this way. The discharge pipe of the geyser is also connected here, but this discharge pipe is usually connected towards the bottom part. Then the sacrificial anode rod, which is used to prevent corrosion of the inner tank, is also seen here. And this insulation layer is shown here in this cutout picture. The cold water inlet is shown to be through this. So this cold water inlet pipe comes and it basically enters from below. And this is the drain valve. Whenever we need to drain the entire tank for maintenance purpose, this drain valve can be used for the purpose. This is typically a connection of several components for electrical supply. From the plug, one wire, the live wire line connection, comes to this thermostat, and the other end of the thermostat is connected to another thermostat which is used for auto cutoff. Also, that line is connected to the the indicator which shows off. Other end of the indicator is connected to this side, other side of the thermostat connection. The auto cutoff output directly goes to the heating coil, and heating coil's other end goes like this to this on indicator, as well as this connection goes to the neutral end of the supply through the plug. So this is typically the connection diagram of any electric heater, electric geyser, that means. And when we take out the coil from inside the geyser, sometimes we see the coil being deposited with some salt and the impurities which are present in the water. So these impurities cause the layering or deposition of layers on the coil many a times. Also inside the tank of the geyser also we see this kind of deposition. That's primarily due to the different types of salts, mud, etc., which are present in the water that is being heated using this geyser. So this type of deposition needs to be removed from inside the tank also, and from the deposition on the heating coil also. Once we take out the heating coil, we can see such kind of scaling or deposition. We see another type of salt deposition on this coil, which is even more severe. Sometimes we see the muddy water that is used, also the water having iron content, that leads to a deposition of this kind as seen in this particular heating coil. So these types of layers need to be removed while doing the maintenance of the electric geyser. We also see sometimes depositions of this kind in case the water that is used for heating in the geyser contains a lot of mud or sandy type of water. If sand is present in the water, then this kind of deposition is seen on the coil that is used in the geyser for heating the water. Now, some types of such depositions are permanent on the coil and they cannot be removed by any mechanical or cleaning means. So in that case, we need to replace these heating coils with new ones. This is another type of deposition which is shown. This is almost like a corrosion. A corrosive type of deposition has occurred in this case, as we can see in this particular coil. So such type of corrosive type of deposition or some corrosion that happens in such kind of a coil cannot be removed permanently, and this type of condition of the heating coil leads to a lot of losses that may occur in the heating process. So water heating using this kind of an affected coil will lead to losses. So therefore we have to go for replacement of these coils by new ones. So this type of coil is available in the market for heating the water. This is another type of coil shown. One more type of coil that is used for heating the water inside the geyser tank is shown here. So all these different types of heating elements or heating coils are available in the market for easy replacement. So in case of permanent damage occurring to the coil, this type of coil is to be purchased from the market and needs to be used for replacing the damaged coil. So another important component that needs a replacement sometimes is the thermostat. The thermostat can be taken out from the tank of the geyser like this, and this is the full view of a thermostat that is used for detecting the temperature level of the water inside the geyser. So this thermostat sometimes shows faulty results or stop working. In that case, this thermostat can also be replaced by purchasing a thermostat from the market very easily. So another electrical internal wiring is shown here. As we see, a lot of wires are there in the connection of the geyser components. So this geyser component will be all these components will be connected by using the standard connection diagram. So the geyser that is purchased will be associated with some manual, or such kind of manuals are available online as well. So the manual of that particular type of geyser, of a particular model type, can be downloaded, and we can see this type of a typical connection diagram, which is available in the internet for downloading. So this type of a diagram can be used to inspect the connection, whether the connection is properly done inside the geyser or not, or in case any connection is loose or faulty or not working. In case of any such case, we can replace the wires inside and make the connections correct by looking at the standard connection diagram like this. Another very rare but severe kind of problem that may occur in a geyser is the leakage of the tank, which is not very common, but with prolonged use of the geyser for a long time, several years, it may develop a kind of leakage related problem, of the inside tank. In that case, we will be able to detect by a leaking tank of a geyser, which is again a severe problem. And this type of the inner tank of the geyser must be used for replacement. So it is less likely to occur, but if it occurs, then this also can be replaced by suitable sized replacement component, or this type of replacement which is available in the market can be used to replace the tank as well. So all these are very similar type of components which are available in all different geysers manufactured by different vendors, and these are very common types of components, and these components can be replaced very easily by purchasing these from the market as spare parts or easily available component parts. So once we make the connection of these components by careful selection of the replacement whenever required, then the geyser will start working fine again, and we will be able to make use of the geyser with the new components for a long life of the geyser after successful replacement. So this is all about the standard electric geysers which are used for household applications mainly, and their component replacement and maintenance requirements have been discussed, and we could see that different components which develop certain problems over time, they need to be inspected, maintained, they need to be repaired if required, and certain components can be replaced as well with the suitable alternative components available in the market. So that's all from this session. Hope the learners have been able to learn about the normal household electric geyser operation and maintenance, and they will be able to handle such operation and maintenance operations or activities easily with the help of this particular session's practical demonstration video. So that's all from this session. Thank you.